Good evening, everybody. Could you please take your seats? Can I ask you please to take your seats? Thank you. So we can get started. First on our agenda tonight is we're going to stand for the pledge to the flag and remain standing for a moment of silence for our first responders, military personnel that are keeping us safe every day. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Next on the agenda, got to stand in front of the camera. Next on the agenda is our reading of our minutes by our Secretary, Reb Benson, from our meeting November 16th at Laurel Manor. Here you go, Reb.
All right. Thanks, Cliff. Good evening, everybody. Hey, welcome for coming out on a kind of day that only had the people coming down from the north probably playing golf today. But we're glad we're in Florida, because here in Florida, at least this isn't wet snow coming down, is it? You know, it's more like just rain. Anyhow, want to cover some some of the highlights of the minutes from the meeting last month. And usually with the meeting we go over a few little things, have some announcements. Most of those same announcements will be like tonight, so I won't go over what those announcements were, because we'll cover some of the same things there. And then we have a speaker. In this case, we had Nina Connor from the Florida Friendly Landscape. So I think it's always worthwhile to a couple of highlights of what our speaker said last month, in case you missed it or didn't see it in the POA bulletin what they were. So she talked about, obviously, choosing the right kind of landscape that you want to do while you're living here in Florida on your yards and whatnot. So the big things that you look at are hardiness zone. We're mainly in zone 9A with a little bit in 9B because the villages are so big. She sees many homes with these Robelian and Queen palms, which are better suited for zone 10, which is a little farther south of us, which I guess was a good point. I had a Queen palm in our front yard, and I finally had to take it out because it was dying. And I guess because it would have been better farther south in zone 10. Light zone is another major point there. Plant according to the sun, over 6 midday sun hours. Part sun is 3 to 6 hours, and shade is little to no midday sun. Moisture zone is also important, whether you got wet or average or dry soils, and then to make sure your pH level is at the right level. Made another point, because we had these two, Washingtonian palms. We had a couple of those, and we had to take those out because they'd gotten so tall, and they're now get to a point where if it were to fall over, it'd do a lot of damage to your house. So they said, yeah, those kind of palms are not great for in the yards of homes around here. Said mulch is important, but natural mulch like pine straw or bark is best. Stones are too warm, and rubber is a chemical, and cypress mulch is not recommended either. Obviously, spacing between your plants is important too, and there's many guides out there you can follow for that. And why do plants die? Mainly due to bad care. I guess that's why a lot of mine die. And improper watering, light, and fertilization. There are 115 invasive plants in Florida, and they should be removed from landscape. Things like Mexican petunias, which are real popular here, really they probably shouldn't have them because they're very invasive. To make sure you got the right kind of sustainable landscape, conserve water, reduce and eliminate lawn, feed the soil, and eliminate chemicals where you can. The Florida Native Plant Society meets monthly, and they have field trips. The village chapter meets the fourth Friday of each month at 1:30 p.m. at Big Cypress Recreation Center if you ever want to go and get more information from them. You can also go to fnps.org and plantrealflorida.org for more information on native plants. And that was basically it for the meeting.
Thank you, Reb. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes? Somebody? Second? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Thank you. Next is our treasurer's report from our treasurer, Donna Kempa, which is probably the best report we've had in a long time.
Yeah, he's actually right. This is a really good one, and I expect it to be even better next month. So make sure you all show up because I think it's going to be pretty good. But anyway, so our revenue is $17,651.93. And expenses were $12,835.75. So we actually had a month in the black of $48,1618. So as I mentioned, we had a bunch of advertisers that came through to help us out, and I think we're going to finish up pretty strong for this year. So you'll hear about that next month once I finalize everything. So our operating funds total right now is $126,807.93. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Yeah, we had some of our big advertisers who all come due in December and January. Take care of it, so finally we're gonna be okay this next month. This is the part of the meeting where we're gonna do the induction of the officers for next year, so I need all the board members and officers that are here to come up here, and we have to stand so the camera can see us, guys. And Len Hathaway is gonna do it as he has for many years. Mr. Hathaway.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody on camera here? Okay, over the years, the objectives of your POA have not changed. They are the same today as they were in 1975, some 46 years ago. We still believe in these 5 basic principles and anticipate these officers and directors standing before you will accept them with an affirmative "I will." These then and now are the 5 objectives. Number 1, the primary goal of the Property Owners Association is to protect the rights of all residents of the villages. Will you work towards this goal?
I will. Yes.
Thank you. Second, in order for the Property Owners Association to become more visible and viable organization, we must promote it to the best of our ability. Will you work towards this goal?
I will.
Thank you. Number 3, the Property Owners Association is a positive and cooperative organization, yet must on many occasions negate unfair or illegal edicts of the developer or his government. Will you keep a positive and cooperative attitude whenever it is possible?
I will.
Thank you. Number 4, Property Owners Association has a charter and bylaws. Will you honor these documents?
I will. I will.
Thank you. 5th and last, the Property Owners Association requires a membership which is supportive of our organization and is dedicated to its goals. Will you dedicate yourself to developing such an organization?
I will.
The ceremony now being completed, you are officially installed as members of the Board of Officers and of the Property Owners Association of the Villages, and you can be ensured that your tenure will have the best wishes and appreciation of the corporation of the entire membership. Please thank these people for serving, and like Cliff has served for so many years. Thank you.
What? Yeah. Yeah. You had that last week. Thank you, guys. Okay, next on the agenda is, I don't think George is here, is she? Oh, come on up here, hon. This is the fun part of what I get to do. Actually, tonight's even more fun, probably the most fun I've ever had. Because this really means a lot to me. Stand right here, please, Georgia. You're welcome. This is Georgia Lipsky. Her husband Brian Lipsky was her husband Brian Lipsky was part of Seniors versus Crime for many years. I used to work for Brian many years ago. He taught me a whole lot about things that go on in the villages. He was a District 2 supervisor. He sat at that back table for years and years and years. He probably did more for this community than most people realized, especially in his job as supervisor of District 2. So it's my pleasure because Brian was a good friend, somebody who I really respected, somebody who I had a great working relationship with, as with his wife, who used to be the manager of the Sumter County office. Actually, one year I think I got Sleuth of the Year. I don't know how I did that because I don't know, but that was Brian's doing, believe me when I tell you. So, Georgia, from the Property Owners Association, I'm going to read to you. It says, the Property Owners Association of the Villages Inc. inducts Brian Lipsky into the POA Hall of Fame in recognition of your steadfast service to the POA and the residents of the villages. This is probably the greatest honor I've had, and I've been doing this now for 7 years, so this is really important. This is for your husband and you. I don't actually know anybody that deserves it more. We're all going to miss Brian. I know. If there's anything the POA or I can do for you, please call me. You have my number. Thank you. Okay, the POA is going to be having a shredding event on April 9th, or 2022. I'm actually, because I need to fill time, I'm going to actually let Sal talk about it for a few minutes. But I want to tell you that we're doing something a little different. In the bulletin this month, which will be going to the printer tomorrow or Thursday, tomorrow I think. At any rate, it'll be coming out the first week in January. There's information and instructions on how you can get a shredding ticket. You're going to need a ticket. You need to be a member of the POA. I am asking for something different this year. We had a speaker in, I believe, September, Gary Cato, who is the founder of SOS Support Our Soldiers, who helps the vets that are living in the Ocala National Forest. In this community, I can't believe that we have about 1,200 veterans living in the Ocala National Forest. Disgusting. So what I'm asking you to do is, because we don't charge you for this, we do it free. It costs us a lot of money to do it, but it's well worth it. I'm asking you to bring a donation that will go to SOS, because he got hit really hard with the pandemic, dried up a lot of his funds. He's got lots of people to feed. He's got a lot of kids to take care of and a lot of veterans to take care of. So you don't have to, but we would appreciate it if you did that. Look for the information in the bulletin. Send me an email and I'll send you a ticket if you're a member. We're gonna have 3 trucks. We're gonna try and get 35,000, 40,000 pounds of paper. So look for it. Thanks, boss. We're gonna look for it. He's my boss. Without him, I couldn't do what I do. So it's April 9th, 2022. As you know, our meetings, I think we started 6 months ago. Videotaping, live streaming. I will tell you that there was probably only about 45 people in the audience last month in November, but we had 619 hits live stream. So there are a whole bunch of people that got to see the meeting. I have brought this up in last March before the districts and the boards all went into the budget process and we got shot down. But next year in March, I'm going to have statistics for the 10 months that we've been doing this, because the month of August, when Richard Bear, our district manager, and Chief Kane were here talking about the special fire district, we had 1,725 hits. I can tell you, being in the villages for almost 20 years, going to numerous meetings every single month, they don't have 1,700 people see a meeting in 5 years. So it works. People want to see it. They need a way to do it. Unfortunately, I don't see anybody in the back from district, so this won't get back to them this month unless they're watching. If you guys are watching, remember, I'm going to be bringing it up in March. Vial of Life. God, did I get to use that yesterday? Vial of Life. Sumter County Sheriff's Office has this program. How many of you have a Vial of Life in your refrigerator? Not enough. I see people that don't have their arm up, their hand up. What this is you take this, you take these 2 pages, forms that come with it. Second page, you put your medical information. You take one of the green stickers and put it on your front door. You take the other one and put it on your refrigerator. You put this on the top shelf of your refrigerator. God forbid you have to call 911. You don't have to tell them anything. They're going to see the sticker. They're going to go right to your refrigerator. They're going to know all the medicines you take. They're going to know who all your doctors are. You're going to save precious time. and I speak from experience. It works. My goal is to get every household in the villages to have one of these. We've got a long way to go, but they say they got a lot of vital of life, so we're going to continue to do it. It's really, really a great program. They're on the back table. If you don't have one, feel free to grab one or two when you leave. Oh, I just found out a day or two ago, they're building a new rec center in District 4, First Responders Rec Center, dedicated sort of like Eisenhower, which was for military, for first responders. They will be accepting memorabilia for that, which is going to be stocked with residents' memorabilia if they choose to use yours. The deadline is January 28th to submit the form. You go online, districtgov.org. There's a form. You can fill it out, send it in, and then they will contact you and let you know if they want your stuff. It's really going to be kind of cool. So please, try and take advantage of that. At the back table, we have our friends from Seniors versus Crime. We have our friends from Shine, Realty Execs, Hospital Auxiliary, and that's it tonight. Not a lot. It's a bad month. It's almost Christmas. Wow, almost. Sal, you want to talk about speakers for the AED program?
Yeah.
I need to fill time.
Sure. No.
Talk slow.
All right, we have a fabulous, can you hear me? Okay. We have a fabulous AED program here in the villages. It's really world class. What it is it's a neighborhood program, and we have 247 neighborhood groups that participate in this. And basically, these neighborhoods and these communities, units, or subdivisions come together, and they establish a AED program. We will come out and give you a presentation on this, how to start your own program, explain to you how the program works, what you need as far as hardware, how much this hardware would cost, what you got to do to train the responders, to recruit the responders, okay? So we'll get you all set up, and we'll have you working with the Public Safety Department. But it is a real success. Like I said, it's world class. The survival rate nationwide of cardiac arrests is under 10%. Here in the villages, it's approaching 30 to 40%. So that's astounding. So if there's anybody out there who hasn't got an AED for their neighborhood, or you know somebody who needs one for their neighborhood, or you know someone who's interested, please call the POA, either Cliff or myself, and we'd be glad to give you that presentation. Okay? Well, thank you.
Thanks, Al. Also, if you belong to other social clubs, and I'm sure you all do, everybody belongs to 2 or 3 or 4 of them, and you want a speaker to talk about things that are happening in the villages, the POA has a presentation that I do. Be more than happy to do it. You'll learn a lot of information, probably some stuff you didn't know. Because there's not a very big crowd, I decided not to have the cash raffle tonight, so next month. Quickly, just let me tell you that our speakers coming up for January are going to be Dick Campbell from the Hospital Auxiliary. In February, it's going to be Kenny Blocker, our new district manager. As you might not know, our district manager, Richard Bear, retired. He's officially retired as of January 7th. But Kenny will be here in February talking about some of the things that he's going to try and do, and hopefully some of the programs that Richard started that he's going to continue. In March, Cheryl Chestnut from the Villages Hospital is going to be here speaking. That's always a great presentation. We'll see what they're going to try to do to make the hospital better. In April, Dr. Norman Anderson. And in May, we're going to have somebody from Honor Flight. So we got some pretty good speakers coming up in the next 4 or 5 months. And if you can't come to the meeting, you can always watch it live on our Facebook page, POA of the Villages. Okay, this is the part where Sal, you have to take a mic. Well, if you have any questions, we'll try and answer them. But before you do that, let me explain something to you. Our speaker didn't show up tonight. It's happened once or twice before. Not very often, but it happens once or twice. So we're either gonna make this a short meeting and you're gonna have donuts and coffee, or we'll talk about anything you want me to talk about. But if you have any questions, I'll try and answer them. If I don't have an answer, I'll get them for you. So Sal will come around with a microphone, raise your hand, and we'll see where we can go.
Just one other thing. Our speaker tonight was someone from the state who was going to speak about frauds and scams. Now, I had arranged this speaker several months ago, and we've kept in touch. There was a couple of changes with the venue, and I believe I made myself clear regarding the changes, and we've kept in touch by email and phone calls, but I guess this is what's the result. So I apologize to everybody about the speaker tonight. It's my doing.
You'll get your lashes after the meeting. Anybody got any questions? Come on, somebody got to have a question. Oh, by the way, before we take questions, something I started to do and I almost forgot to do it, and that's introduce some of the people that run or are on some of these boards and that serve you guys every day. So we do have two Sumter County Commissioners here. We have Craig Estep, stand up, Craig, and Gary Search. We have, thank you guys. We have some supervisors from District Board. Sal's on District 8. Mark Hayes is on District 4. Andrew Biladaro's on District 12. Andrew Curtis is on 6. Donna Kemp in the back, our treasurer's on the AAC, which is really, really important. I happen to be on District 4's Board of Supervisors. So just so you guys know who some of the people are to try to help you. So you can see some of them are POA officers or board members. So we do more than just a POA. We're pretty involved in this community. I know I am especially. It's important that we keep this community the way it's supposed to be. Okay, questions?
General questions? Anybody?
Somebody got to have a question. All the way in the back, Sal, Bob's wife, Carol.
Who was it?
I was just wondering, what is happening to the Spanish Springs Theater? It looks the same, like they're not even working on it.
Okay, I can tell you that the building permit expired a year ago, so you're right, they're not working on it. We don't know what's happening, but right now it's not progressing very fast because nothing's being done. There's lots of rumors, and until the developer wants to know what he's going to do with it, that's exactly the way it'll stay. It'll stay as rumors. So I'm not going to speculate as to what they're trying to do. I will also tell you that the apartments at Spanish Springs, plans were turned in the day after district or Lady Lake commissioners voted to rescind the agreement that was signed in 1987. And that's exactly where it is right now. Nothing else has been done. They haven't applied to go before zoning. It's just out there. Maybe they're waiting until after the holidays. Eventually something will happen. Anything else?
Question. There we go.
Andrew and
Yes, sir. Speak into the mic.
I do, speaking of that. We have a neighbor that is in violation of the deed restrictions on his property. It's not maintained. The trees are overgrown. Some are dying. The mold is developing on their front lawn. And we want to know, what options do we have as next door neighbors to help rectify the situation?
called deed compliance.
Who's that?
That deed compliance, it's one of the offices that's associated with the district. I think it's 7513912. Don't hold it. It's either 751 or 753. You can do it or not. Well, what district do you live in? Where do you live?
10.
Number 10. You can do it anonymously in District 10. You don't have to give your name. Give them the address. They'll go out and check it out. If it is in violation, they will do something about it. Mm-hmm.
With regard to the shredding event,
Yes.
if I wanted to make a donation to the Save Our Soldiers via a check, do you know to whom that check would be made out?
SOS. Make the check out to SOS,
Okay,
Save
thank
Our
you.
Soldiers.
Thank you.
And that would be awesome, Andrew. Thank you. Anybody else?
Question?
I'm sure, and this is all I'm going to say about it. I'm sure you guys have read that there's an issue with a couple of the Sumter County commissioners, and they've been charged with an offense. All I'm going to say is wait for the rest of the story, guys. It's not everything that you read in the paper. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Questions?
Anybody else? My God, I can't believe that we're going to get without any questions. Karen, you always have all kinds of questions.
All right, think of a question. Got one?
Okay. Well, if you guys don't have any more questions, take your time. We got lots of donuts back there, more donuts than we got people, that's for sure. Thank you all for coming. Next month, we'll have Richard Campbell from the Hospital Auxiliary, and I'm sure he'll have a interesting talk for you guys. I apologize for our speaker not showing up. I have no control over that, unfortunately. So thank you, everybody. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.